Hey guys, TheRick here, bringing you another video. It's one-on-one time with TheRick, and today we have a very special guest. He is none other than Brian of BM's Aquatics. Brian, really do appreciate you taking the time to do this video.
Hey Rick, just want to start off by saying thank you for having me on the show. I love the one-on-ones you got going. I'm honored to be right up there with the rest of them that you've done so far. Great videos, great channel, great channel. Keep the videos coming.
So let's get started with the questions. I asked everybody this. How long have you been in the hobby and what do you love most about it?
Okay, as far as how long I've been in the hobby, 20 years I've been in the hobby now, give or take. That's right, I'm an old guy, but love it, love the hobby. It all started, I started off with a 10-gallon tank years ago, and it wasn't soon after that I got a 55, and I rolled with the two tanks, the 10 and the 55, for a number of years, and then the 55 was used, had some scratches in it, and then finally I was like, I want a better tank. You know, I'd like to get bigger. Obviously, we all want to go bigger. So I did. I got rid of the 55 and I got the 75 that's behind me, and I've done it over a couple of times so far. But this tank's been running now. I don't know. It's been running for a long time. It's out of all the tanks I have, it's been running the longest. So I'd say a good 20 years. I've been in the hobby, and then you guys who've been following me might know that a few years back, probably about 3 years ago, I busted up my foot pretty good, and I was out of work. I was out of work for almost 2 years. It was tough. I mean, the worst thing about that is you go crazy. You just sit around, you know, what do you do with a busted foot? So I took the time and I started watching videos. I wanted to rescape my tank, this big one behind me. So I wanted some ideas, so I got on YouTube and I just started watching videos. Before I even did a video, I was always watching the videos, just getting ideas, kind of taking all the ideas and putting them into one. And it just took off from there. I got the tank, I liked what I was doing with it, so I decided I'd make a video. That's how the whole YouTube thing started. And then it just took off from there. Like I said, I had the time. I was lucky enough I had money coming in for being out of work. Not a lot, but you know, I was doing all right, and I just started building some tanks. I got 7 now, and that's how it all started. And just go on YouTube, watch videos, great ideas. I mean, people think that you know, it's hard to do. You might have to go to school to really know a lot. You can self-teach yourself. Just go on YouTube, Google, just ask questions. It's the best way. But great hobby. Well, one reason why I like it so much is because it gives me something to do indoors. I am an outdoorsman, but I live in New Hampshire. It's pretty cold in the wintertime, a lot of snow, and there's only so much you can do outside before you get sick of it and want to come in. But I love it. It's just something to do besides sit there and watch TV once you're home. You know, it gives you something to do. You can get creative, and when you build something and you enjoy it, you really appreciate it, and it's a great hobby. It does require some money, but you can do it without going broke doing it. Just be careful and you know, do your research.
Now, what is one piece of advice you would give someone who wants to get into this hobby?
Well, like I said, research. Anybody just starting off, I would definitely recommend do your research. There's a number of ways you can do that. You can just watch the videos, you can learn a lot. Google. Ask a question to Google. They'll answer it, pull up all kinds of stuff, and then you can just pick through and decide which, you know, where you want to take your information from. I have some books. I also use, of course, you go to almost any pet shop, you got to feel out the person that you're asking the questions to, that's waiting on you. Some of them are just there for paycheck. They really don't know a lot. They'll sell you the fish and that's about it. So you got to feel them out, ask a couple of questions, see what their answer is, and then you can decide whether or not they're worthy enough to answer some of the more important questions. But I would say do your research on anything, and have a couple of bucks tucked away. Try to, anyways. It's doesn't have to be a very expensive hobby, but you do want to be able to spend some money from time to time for different reasons. Maybe maybe your heater breaks. Well, you want to go out and get another heater right away, or you could run into some problems. So have a few bucks kicking around. I mean, you're going to want to spend money anyways periodically. There's always going to be that fish or the plant or whatever that you're going to want to buy. So if you're totally strapped for cash, I recommend maybe not getting into the hobby or saving up until you can. But you definitely want to spend some money on the hobby.
Now you have so many tanks. It might be hard, but I want to know, what is your favorite tank?
My favorite tank? That's a tough one. It's almost like asking what's your favorite kid. You love them all. But of course there's no comparison to the kids in the tanks. But I would have to say probably the 75 gallon that's right behind me. It's the biggest. Of course, you know, bigger is better sometimes, but it's the longest running tank I have currently, and it's fairly easy maintenance. It's just you know, the bigger the tank, the more options you have as far as what you put in and what you do with it. So I really love the 75 gallon tank. It's a good all-around tank.
You have African tanks, planet tanks, and even a saltwater tank. What is the hardest and easiest tanks to care for?
The easiest and the hardest tank. I would have to say the easiest tank is probably very similar to this one. It's an African cichlid tank. It's my 36 gallon, and why I picked that one over this one is simply the fact it's smaller. So they're fairly easy to care for, the African cichlids, and I'm comparing that to like a high-tech planet tank or a salt tank. I mean, I have them all, so they're definitely the easier tanks to care for. Especially with these Tanganyikans, they're one factor you really don't have to worry about as opposed to other Africans is they're not aggressive. It's not like you really got to monitor them all the time and take out the tough guys or anything like that. It's not like that. So very easy maintenance, I would have to say. And as far as the hardest one, it's a toss-up between my high-tech planet tank. I would have to say that one. And I have a salt tank. I think I'm fortunate because it's been running for 2 years now almost. And at first it was a lot. It was hard. And I was almost ready to give up. And it started to come into it. And now it's doing well. And and it's less water changes. I do one every 2 weeks on that. So the hardest one I would have to say is my high-tech. It's a 56 gallon column. It's got the pressurized CO2. I use ferrets. I find that I have to do a water change every week on that. So that's it's not hard. It's just you really got to pay attention or it can get away from you. So that's probably the hardest tank to take care of, I would have to say.
Do you have a favorite fish or have a fish in mind that you want to get one day?
My favorite fish? Well, Rick, I would have to agree with you. I just watched your video. I'm glad that you got your Calvus that you've been wanting. I know you've been wanting them. You made comments about that. And they're definitely my favorite as well. They're great fish. Like you said, they're not the cheapest ones, but they don't really break the bank. I mean, you know, you shop around, you can find good deals. But the Calvus and the Compressiceps, I have both very, very similar. Great fish. Beautiful fish. Not hard to care for. They're just unique, very unique looking. They look mean, but they're not. They're very passive fish. I would have to say they're my favorite.
Now you have a lot of tanks that hardly have any algae on them. What is your secret?
Well, algae, as we all know, is probably the worst thing. It's there's a number of algae, and there's a number of ways to combat the algae. It's whatever works for you. You can try all of them or whatever works. I find what works the best is water changes are the best thing for any tank, if you ask me. And as far as probably like the high-tech planet tanks, I think it's a matter of a scheduled water change. I do a water change every week. I try to keep it on the same day. Not perfect, so it doesn't always work out that way, but I think being consistent and just doing the big water changes is the best way to combat the algae. And just wait it out. You're gonna go through blooms. You gotta get into the balanced stage. Once you do, keep on a regimen, and it works. I mean, you're still gonna have algae. I mean, you do your water change, clean the inside of your glass. You know, get some good algae eaters to try to you know, take care of what's inside the tank, and it should come together. I mean, it's an ongoing battle, but hey, you know, I tell people, these tanks, it's not, you know, people want one. I'm like, it's not a piece of furniture. You don't just set it up and leave it there. It's a hobby. You got to get into it. So you got to do your water changes. You got to do your maintenance, and things should come together once you do that.
Now, I don't know if you mentioned this before, but I'm wondering if you're married and have children, and are they interested in this hobby?
Well, I'm not married. I do have a girlfriend. Been with her for a long time, 15 years now. She is not into the hobby. She likes it. She loves looking at the tanks. Always bends down to look at them, and you know, makes comments. But she doesn't get into it. She doesn't take part. She don't even feed them. She would if I asked her to, but she doesn't. It's not her thing. She's got her own hobbies and whatnot. And this is mine. But I have one child, my daughter. She's grown up. She loves the fish. She don't have any. Well, no, actually she does. She has one beta now. She keeps it low key, and I think still alive for her. Good for her. I love it. I would like to see her get more into it, but it's just one of them things, either you do or you don't. Some people don't have the time, the money, or the interest, but well, she does love it. She's always asking questions and stuff, but you know, it's good to see somebody that does take an interest in it.
So my last question to you, Brian, is do you have any plans, projects, or series coming to your channel in the future?
Well, in the future, I really don't have anything planned. Of course, that could change. I'm a spur-of-the-moment type of guy. I could just all of a sudden get this crazy idea and want to do something different. One thing I think I might want to do, I've done it before, I used to keep South American cichlids. I love them. I just wanted something different, so I switched to the Africans. But I really do like the South Americans. There's a large variety, and they have great personality as well. I had a couple of Oscars for the longest time, 8 years. And loved them. Great personality. You got to have the space for them, though. But I'm not saying I'm going to get them again. I wouldn't mind. I do love them. But I don't really have anything coming up. No plans. I'm open for suggestions as far as you know, anything you guys would like to see, or if you guys want to ask me questions or anything like that. I'm open for suggestions as far as projects go. A lot of people think I should do a bigger salt tank. There's a lot more that goes into a bigger one than what I got going. I love the one I got. I don't see it in the future. I'm never say never. I could. Right now, I'm happy with what I got. I don't want a bigger one quite yet, but you never know. We'll see what happens. But like I said, nothing etched in stone as far as new projects coming up. Maybe a rescape on one of the old tanks. I mean, that's always fun to do.
Big shout out to Brian for taking the time to do this. Really appreciate it, bro.
Thanks for having me, Rick. Really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing some other one-on-ones. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. I'll try to answer them. I think I started off the whole YouTube community. I was trying to answer all the questions, and now it's a matter of, I mean, I'm back to work, and you know, we all got lives and I'm busy, so I try to at least answer the questions. And but as far as getting back to every single comment, I mean, I just as soon take my time and make another video. But I mean, it's hard to, you know, you got to take care of the tanks, make the videos, put some time into other people's videos. The whole thing is a little time consuming, but I love it. It gives me something to do. But every once in a while, you got to draw the line, and you know, as far as what you're going to do with your channel and how you're going to go about it. But anyways, thanks for having me, Rick, and thanks everybody for watching, and keep the videos rolling.
Alright guys, that's been another one-on-one with TheRick. If you guys have a suggestion for another one-on-one, please leave it in the comments below. And as always, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.